What up, agents? If you're crafting gear in Division 2, hoping for perfect rolls, stop. Crafting station is useful, but not in the way most people think. Today I'm breaking down what the crafting station is actually good for, when you should use it, and when you're wasting materials. So what the crafting station actually does, the crafting station lets you craft weapons, gears, mods, exotics, as long as you have the blueprint to craft it. In order to get the blueprint, you can go to her if you don't have it, and if it's available, she would be selling it. And of course, you can buy it. So as you can see, the inventory, I have 114 out of 50 blueprints, which is pretty sad that I don't have it. It hurts my heart. I'm joking. Eventually I'll get it. But you can craft exotics as long as you have the blueprint too. Reconfigure your weapon exotics only. This changes the bottom minor attribute only as exotics are not able to be recalibrated. So if you go into your exotics, scroll on down, come on down. As you can see, the cost on the right tells you what you need to be able to roll it. And then once you're able to roll it, like the capacitor, which I'm not going to because I already have the roll that I want on there. But if you look, you get 2 core attributes. That's per exotic. Your 1 minor attribute is the last stat roll on the exotics. That's the only thing that you can reconfigure. And of course it's at random, so you can re-roll it and hope to God that you get the stat roll that you want on the gun. But here's a key. Crafted items rarely drop with perfect rolls. Crafting is not your main source of good tier gear. It's a support system. An example I'll show you. I go in here and I'm like, hey, I want to try to get a max stat roll for my Walker and Harris because I need a better DPS. Voila! You get rolls like this. And it's very disheartening. Your attribute rolls, or your minor attribute rolls, are always going to be random. So even if I craft another one, it's not going to have the same rolls on it. It's going to be different. Voila. Always going to be different. And a percentage of each stat is always going to be randomized. Now, is it possible to get maxed out rolls? Very small percentage, but not saying it can't happen, but that's a lot of materials that you're banking on. Crafting regular weapons and gear can help you, filling a missing slot in a build, get a specific brand set piece, try out a new weapon type just in case you want to know how it does for you when you're playing with it. It'd be your way of testing it out before you farm for it, so that way you're just not farming for it for no reason, and then come to find out you don't like it, and then you get rid of it, and you did all that farming for nothing. So, but you should not rely on crafting to get max rolls. Like I said, most of the time, farming targeted loot is more efficient. Craft when you need something specific, not when you're chasing perfection. So, crafting mods is very underrated. These are the blueprints for your attachments. You're definitely going to want to craft these because once you craft your attachments for your weapons, you only got to do that once and then it'll have a check mark, as you can see these have, because I've already crafted all these. And it's just a one-time craft. And then it makes it available for you to use on your weapons. So that's another thing that's that's most important for you to knock out early on in the game. But when you get down here to your gear mods, this is basically very underrated. Crafting becomes more useful. Skill mods and gear mods can be crafted if you're missing something specific. If you need a quick crit chance mod or a skill duration mod for a build test, crafting can save time. Though random every time you craft, but the chance of obtaining a specific mod you need can obtain in a matter of seconds rather than minutes, like running countdown. It's not always perfect, but it can get you close. So basically, As you can see, the percentage is still at random. The type of mod that you're getting is still at random. But if you have the materials, you can literally just spam square until you come across a mod that you're looking for, rather than trying to farm it and take 15 minutes and countdown to sit there and try to get the mod. So one of the most important crafting features, which is very useful, is reconfiguring an exotic reroll on a stat that you want, like I showed you early on. So like if I go down to these and you want to re-roll that bottom stat, damage the target out of cover is what I go for, because it gets you the most damage overall. Then I re-roll it until I get it, and basically once I have it, I optimize my gear so that way it becomes max rolls. But it's very helpful that you can do this for the exotic, because early on you was not able to do this. This is useful. Your exotic drops with low rolls, and if it does, it allows you to re-roll it so that way you can get higher rolls in the roll you're looking for. If you want a better version of the same weapon, because nobody really wants fire rate as an attribute when you can get more damage. But then again, fire rate is not that bad if you think about it, because it increases the amount of damage you do. Little, but just remember it re-rolls everything though. So anytime you re-roll, your assault damage to armor completely re-rolls the percentage. So the percentage can drop with anything after you re-roll it, and then your attribute changes with whatever percentage it gives you. So basically you only want to reconfigure if your current roll is bad. Then you have your crafting cost. You have receiver components, protective fabrics, polycarbonate, printer filaments, and sometimes extra exotic components. Basically, if you go in here to craft, over at the right it says crafting costs. You need your e-credits, and then it tells you the materials that are required, right being how much it costs, and then the green number on the left tells you how much you have of that material. You can also see the material through your resource. There's your exotic materials right here. This is your normal materials, basically your crafting materials. Yep, I think that's it. So yeah, your materials right here is basically all of the materials that you use for crafting. And then of course, if you go to shade level and you go down here to scavenging, you can also see the materials that you use for crafting, because here you would use your shade level to, if you have any, to basically choose more. So if I need more ceramics, I could use one of my shade level. As you can see, I have 3 on the top right. It says claim reward. I can do this up to 3 times. On the left, it shows you the amount that it's going to give you per shade level that you use, or per reward that you use. So if I go up 1, it's going to give you the current value, 300. Value per point is 300. Your inventory space is how much that you're able to have before you max out. And then of course, as you can see, my claim reward just minus 1, but I have 300 more ceramics. If you constantly craft random gear, you'll drain your materials fast. Materials are better used for optimizing, expertise upgrades, exotic reconfiguration. Craft intentionally, not randomly. When you should use the crafting station, there's a better way to use the crafting station. It's when you need specific brand set piece, when you're testing a build concept, when you're re-rolling an exotic, or you're completing a project requirement. Look, got a message. So it's a tool, not your main farming method. When you do not want to use the crafting station is to spam craft hoping for god rolls. By God, I'm going to get that perfect piece. No, you're not. You might. 1 out of a million. I don't know. I don't know what the percentage is for that. Or you're going to burn materials early game, craft gear you could easily farm for, or reconfigure good exotics just chasing perfection. Farming targeted loot will almost always be better. As far as reconfiguring exotics, it's better to reconfigure it to the roles that you have or that you want. So if you get that bottom role, that bottom attribute with the role that you want, re-rolling that exotic is not going to be necessarily the better option to trying to find that maximum rolls with the attribute that you're looking for. You basically want to optimize it once you get the roll that you're looking for. It's just better to optimize that exotic to max roll. Otherwise, you're going to be wasting a lot of materials and a lot of time because it's, like I said, it's possible, but it's very rare. So one thing that players forget is blueprints. You unlock blueprints from control points, project vendors. The more blueprints you unlock, the more flexible you have at the crafting station. So if you want more options, farm blueprints first, which is a very good tip because I don't even have all of them. I have 116 out of 150 blueprints.
Bye.
So there are things that I have in my library or my crafting station. As you can see, I can craft all this. But there are things that it's not going to show me because I don't have the blueprints for. In which some of the gears I definitely could use. Basically, you want all blueprints so that way you maximize the amount of gear and the type of gears that you can craft to help your situation for when you're trying to make builds or fill in pieces, like I said at the beginning. Blueprints is always a good thing to have, especially when you get the blueprints for your named items, because sometimes the named items that automatically come with a certain talent, that could actually be a beneficial way to farm for a piece of gear because it's easier to craft a named item or named item because the the talent's always going to be the same, and of course if you're not aiming for core attributes, it makes it that much easier to just obtain that piece through the crafting station. Of course, if you're trying to get the core attribute changed because you want an armor DPS piece like a Walker and Harris Matador that comes with perfect adrenaline rush, I don't have the blueprint for that, and you want it to come with double crit and armor, then you're better off farming that in the DZ because this is DZ exclusive because it's always going to drop with weapon damage, and it's hard enough trying to get the double crit, so you don't want to end up crafting so much that you never get the double crit and then you're just wasting materials. This will do it for the crafting station. If it helped you understand the crafting station and what it's actually used for, drop a like and subscribe. I'm building a full beginner to in-game Division 2 guide series so you know exactly how to hit the ground running with the full understanding of the mechanics of the game. I'll see you in the next one, 80s.